So you're 12 years old. When did you guys start touring?
Right away. The song came out, it like went gold. It was just like, it was instant mayhem. It was just crazy, like instant
Okay.
success from Never Lie. And we just start like, doing shows, doing like little mall tours and stuff like that. And girls were like fainting and stuff like that. So for us, it was fun. We were kids and we didn't understand none of that. It was just like we was having a good time. We were on the road and doing shows and in the tour bus, and people were shaking the tour bus, and it was like the Jackson 5. So, for us it was just like, wow, this is intense. But we were just having a good time.
I mean, how did you feel being that young and having girls faint and scream and everything?
Just you did. It's not really a feeling that you can even describe, because it was like, we were so young and we didn't understand that kind of fandemonium. At that point I had seen it, of course, with the Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson. So I just felt like, ooh, we like Michael Jackson. Girls are fainting over us. So that's all I could think about was Michael Jackson. It was like we're like New Edition, these groups that had come before us. Okay. So it was like, to me, it was just kind of like, that's what happened. It was just like, I seen it happen with New Edition, I seen it happen with the Boys or Jackson 5, and I guess it's just what happens when you're in a group.
Yeah. And you were known as Batman at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why Batman?
Oh boy. So, I used to wear the Batman drawers on my head, like, yes. So this is like when we first signed the Virgin. I was in a hotel room. We was all like kidding around. We was getting dressed, me and the boys, me, Rome, and Don. And I picked up the Batman underwear. I put them on my head. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna wear this out. And then it was like, like, do it. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do it. It was kind of like a dare kind of thing. And then I went out, and then like every time somebody would ask me my name, I was like, oh, I would just flip the drawers up like Batman. It was just kind of like a joke, and it just kind of stuck.
Okay. So after that is We Got It.
Yeah.
How did that album do?
It went gold. Yeah. So another gold album. It was very successful. It wasn't as successful as the first one, but it was still very successful. We did a full tour, the We Got It tour. And, again, it was crazy. Just nothing but craziness.
Now, the Scream tour happened at what point?
Scream tour happened after we put together B2K. So what happened is we hit a plateau after We Got It, I think, and we did the Journey after that. The Journey album was kind of like that transition from us, being such a young kids and blowing up, and kind of like being teenagers, because it's like that awkward stage. And the Journey album didn't really do too good, so we changed our name to IMX because we couldn't be immature anymore. We were 18. We did put out Introducing IMX. And at that point, the label MCA kind of just crumbled, right? We put out the first single. It did like over 700,000. It's called Stay the Night. It was a huge pop hit. And we were going to cross over to like, like the pop, everything like that. And the label just kind of like, everybody got fired right in the middle of our project. This is when we first met Randy Jackson. And he A&R'd that project with us. So like Randy Jackson was like, through the whole thing, it was supposed to be really, really big. And we put out the first single, like I said, it almost went platinum. It was really, really good, really big single. We would start like doing all these pop dates and everything like that. And the label just, everybody got fired, all the heads and everything. And our album just kind of got lost in the sauce. And then we asked for another release, and then we got the release, and then we did House Party 4. That's when we did that independent as well. And then we did that with New Line. And then we did an album that was like off the soundtrack to that. And that's when we put together B2K. They got their deal at Sony. And then
so what do you mean by you put together B2K? Explain
we kind of just along with us and Chris, we kind of like were looking for another boys group, because we always wanted to, like, that was our thing as Immature. We was like, we want to start our own boys group one day. Kind of like Michael Bivins did with Boys to Men. He came from New Edition. He did Boys to Men. We wanted to kind of do the same thing. So, we kind of just had a hand in helping put together B2K, training them and stuff like that and everything. And then they got their deal over at Sony, and then they went on the tour with Bow Wow, the first Scream tour. Mm-hmm. And then we kind of like, we jumped on the next Scream tour, and then Immature kind of like, IMX came back and put out another album that was pretty successful. And I think the Scream tour 2 is when we decided to kind of like that it was like, we was like kind of on the last legs of Immature. IMX, we just decided to kind of like separate, and I decided to go solo.
Okay, right. And then you started your solo career.
Yeah.
But the Scream tour was huge.
Yeah, it was big.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Like what, 50,000, 100,000?
It was
Something
craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was a stadium tour.
yeah. No, it was arena. It was
arenas. Yeah,
it was
that's what I
arenas,
meant.
yeah.
Sorry.
I think the biggest arena we sold out as Immature by ourselves was 18,000. I think it was the United Center in Chicago.
Okay.
That was like our biggest show that we had ever done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys were behind B2K as well.
Yeah.
B2K ended up going platinum.
Yeah. Double platinum.
Double
huge.
platinum.
Yeah.
So forth. So that was your production company essentially?
Yeah. Ours with Chris. You know, we partnered with that.
Okay. So then you went solo.
Yeah.
Your first album, you signed what label again?
Electric.
Elektra.
Yeah.
Okay. How did your first album do?
First album did really good. It almost went gold, but it didn't. You know, it wasn't until the second album that I experienced major success as a solo artist, and that was the Naked album, and that one went gold.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're now a solo artist. Mm-hmm. The other members in the group, what are they doing at this point?
Rome still works with me. He's over there, right there. Kelton, LDB, he does his thing. You know, he kind of backed out of the industry. He didn't really want to be in the industry anymore. He kind of just wanted to be regular. So, you know, he just he owns his own business now. And like we all still keep in touch. We're all still friends. Like I said, we made a pact to each other to always remain friends no matter what, because the industry can be here today and gone tomorrow, but friendship always lasts. So, you know, that's kind of how we are up until this day.
So at what point do you start doing Sister Sister?
I started actually doing Sister Sister when I was 12. It was right around the time that Playtime Is Over came out and Never Lie blew up and everything. Like, it was the success of Sister Sister and Immature was kind of simultaneous at that point. And, you know, that's when Roger, it became so popular.
Right. And the famous catchphrase was?
Go home, Roger.
How did Go Home, Roger come together?
It was written in the script.
Oh, so that wasn't something that just organically showed up one day.
They wrote it and it just kind of caught on. It was just like, go home, Roger, and I was like, call me. And that was like the biggest thing. And it was just like, you know, so for me, at that point, you know, being so young and experiencing all the success, you know, I was just thankful. Like, I was having fun. You know, having fun being able to do like what I love to do, which was entertain. You know, so.
Well, on the show, you had a crush on both the sisters.
Yeah.
And in real life, you had a crush on both the sisters?
Well, in real life, we were really, really close. I mean, we grew up together. So, you know, I met Tia and Tamara when I was like 9. You know, I performed on the Oscars with their younger brother, Taj. Like, so I had met them back then. So when we did the show, I had already known them and their family. So it was pretty cool, and we grew up together. I mean, I wouldn't say I had a crush on both of them. Of course, I liked them. They were, you know, cute, and I was young, and it was like, you know, it's twins. So it was like, you know, we went through our, you know, of course I had a crush on them, and it was just like whatever, you know. But it was just like, you know, we just kind of we were kids on set having fun.
What was really the difference in terms of like the music side versus the TV side? Because both of them have their own.
They do. I mean, it was a really big difference because television is kind of like working a 9 to 5. You get there and you have your certain amount of hours that you can work because you're a kid or you're a minor, and then you go home and you get paid every week. As far as the like music industry, your hours are crazy. You're up either all night or in the morning recording and doing all this stuff. You really don't know what your schedule is going to be. It can flip and change at the drop of a dime. Something can get canceled, a show can get canceled, or it can get thrown at you at the last minute. So one thing I liked about television was the structure, you know, because I've always been like a structured kind of person. So that, for me, that was like, you know, I liked that better. Because people always say, well, which one do you like better? It wasn't necessarily that I liked either one better. It was just I did like the structure of television versus the chaos of the music industry. But I love them both, you know. Financially,
what was better?
Television.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a supporting actor on the show, and you're saying you were making more on that than being a platinum
I mean, you got to think about
artist?
it like this. I mean, everybody saw the New Edition story, I'm sure.
Right, where they get like the $1.87.
Well, because, you know, labels take, you know, because labels spend all the money to make you, you know, this big success, and then they take the money back. So you don't really see a lot of money unless you tour. So the good thing about us, you know, financially, we were able to tour, and we had good management, you know, Chris always gave us our money, and we knew exactly where our money was, and we had great deals. You know, that was one of his things. He wanted to make sure that we made money. So, you know, we made a lot of money on our touring. You know, our merchandise and all that stuff. We had really, really good percentages and all that. But I mean, record labels back then, you never really could get a really good deal because it was point structure. Nowadays, you do partnerships. It's different. 360 deals. It's a whole different ball game nowadays, and money's a lot bigger now than it was back then. But you know, when I was on Sister Sister, you get literally a check every week. Every week, you know.
Right. Plus, when it went into syndication,
you get a check for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So television is really where you want to be. I mean, if you can really get on a TV show, that's why you see so many people doing it. You know what I'm saying? You see these movie stars that are actually even going into television now, because it's like, you know, nothing beats a weekly check. You know, most people, just in life, you try to prepare your life and you try to say, like, monthly, what's my income, what am I pushing out monthly in my bills and stuff like that. But if you're getting a weekly income, I mean, you can't beat that.
Right, because you were also in Baby's Kids.
Yeah.
So did you get to work with Robin Harris on that?
No, Robin Harris had passed away before.
Oh, that came out after he passed.
Faison was actually the voice of Robin Harris for that movie.
I never realized that.
Yeah.
Yo, my mind is blown right now.
Yeah.
That wasn't Robin Harris?
That was not Robin Harris.
Faison Love played Robin.
Played Robin Harris.
Played Robin Harris.
Yep. He did a phenomenal job of being Robin Harris.